handle popped,
Hmm.
and then it was no stopping it.
It was like something. It reminded me of like, the shows we grew up on, like where just crazy stuff would happen.
Someone trying to grab a bucket.
And then like you slip on a banana peel. I don't know. It reminded me of like an early '90s sitcom with like slush just pouring out everywhere.
I got it on my shoes on the
Oh,
floor.
not the kicks.
It got everywhere.
You know what Nelly says?
What's that?
When you scuff your shoes or mess them up.
I ain't heard anything from Nelly in a long
Well, it
time.
was a long time ago that he said it, but I feel like it still rings true. In Air Force Ones.
Oh, okay.
Because he said when you scuff them, you mess up your whole night.
I mean, you do
It's
gotta.
true. I mean, there have been many times that like I'm out, I stop what I'm doing, I'm like, whoa, hold on, I need to get this off my shoe real quick.
You gotta protect. You gotta protect your shoes.
Gotta protect the
your
shoes.
You gotta protect them.
Mm-hmm.
My son, coincidentally, yesterday, we were at Walmart. I picked him up from wrestling practice, and we're walking through Walmart. We're gonna get out of Walmart. And he was like, he said something about these shoes, tough ain't they, whatever. And I looked down. He's wearing some of my good shoes. I'm like, who told you to put my shoes on? I was like, what? It's like I barely wear these. Like, not I wear them like when I'm wearing something nice out or whatever. But I'm like I've never even worn these like 8 to 10 hours. Like you went to school at 8 o'clock. You get out at wrestling practice at like 5 o'clock. You've worn these shoes. You've worn these shoes longer than I ever worn them.
That's unforgivable. You're gonna have to like get those shoe boxes that are like you can't see what's inside. Like the storage ones. And then hide them somewhere.
But then he's not even the same shoe size. I'm like half a size bigger at least. It's like, so why are you wearing my shoes?
So then they're gonna have creases in them.
I'm like, dude, no, ask me before you go in my closet.
Have kids, they say.
Yeah, see, that's why you gotta protect yourself, protect your people.
I mean,
protect your
Ruby Kate's in the same shoe size I'm in as well, but she already knows like she does not take care of her stuff. Do not touch my shoes. I might let her borrow like a shirt sometime or something like. A sweatshirt or something, but not the shoes. Don't touch the shoes.
And it's funny, like we had kind of discussion, setting boundaries and protecting your peace, which you've been kind of focused on here in the past few months.
Yeah, yes, I have been focused on that. Mainly because I feel like my personality, I'm just friendly to everybody, and sometimes that can be taken advantage of. Like you find out people aren't really your friends and you're like, well, I thought we were friends. Like I put a lot into this and then this is what I got in return. And so I've kind of just like over the last few years, especially just made my circle more of like a triangle. But then I feel like too with the political climate, and just current events, I felt like I was doom scrolling a lot and then there was people that I just thought I knew or thought were one way and then have proven to be another. And instead of continuing to like let that consume me or whatever, I was like, you know what, I gotta go. And we've talked a few times about social media and like, what the negatives. And I feel like these days there's a lot more negatives than positives. I'm still on Instagram because I like the pictures and I like the funny comedians and stuff, which I'm aware.
Also less
which are basically like TikTok people, and I'm aware of that. But I just don't love TikTok either.
Instagram feels more professional. Like it's more like movie quality type stuff.
And I feel like you can better, and I know they're owned by the same people as Facebook, but you can still. I feel like you can still better control what you're seeing, like. If there's ads I don't want to see or I find offensive, and I'll be like, offensive. Like, you can kind of get your algorithms, and I'm not good at that either, but I feel like Instagram's the most controllable one to only see what you want to see.
Yes.
And it's a smaller audience and just like, yeah. And so, yeah, I have been controlled. Like, I feel like honestly, everyone should work harder to protect their peace than they do because some people are just very anti-peace. And if you feel like I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you.
What I mean, the way I always feel like if I wouldn't ask you for your opinion or your advice, then I don't care what your criticism are. Like that's how I always kind of view things. Like I choose what I let come in and what I like filter and accept.
But see, I don't, and everyone's different. I don't get my feelings hurt easily. There's a difference in like not wanting to be engaged because your feelings get hurt, and not wanting to be engaged because you've decided it's not worth your time and energy. And that's where I'm at. Like, I can take criticism. I can take someone having a different opinion than me. I like to have conversations with people that are different than me. And I've asked you before, because you're set up on Facebook as like a public figure, so like just any of y'all jokers can get in, and like literally there are so many people who just feel like that's their job in life to like see what you're going to post and then come on there and argue with it. And first of all, I ask, do you not have anything else going on? I don't know if people just don't know that this is a concept. But if not, I'm going to tell you about it. There's this thing called, like, you're scrolling and you see something and you're like, that's insane. Like, I don't agree with that whatsoever. And then guess what? You just keep scrolling. Like, where did we decide that we have to, like, not just come on and have a healthy conversation or give our opinion, but just come on and just, like, bash people or just argue for the sake of arguing? That's a wild concept to me. That I was really good at debate. I can literally go either way on any topic. Does that mean I agree either way? No, but I could argue either way if I chose to. But I don't choose to, because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a politician doing a debate for running for office. And therefore, you don't have to come give your opinion on everything. You can keep scrolling.
I guess would be the interesting part with this dynamic here, like you mentioned my social media, where it is open up pretty much to the world. So with your pool, you had a small pool, only the select chosen got to see what you're saying.
And I couldn't even handle that.
Now, this podcast, which essentially, I mean, I know I showed you the view counts, all things, but now over 100,000 people have seen you in the past few months. So it does open the.
It does, but let me tell the audience, the people that don't know me in real life, like, let me kind of give you a little insight. When you first approached me about this, well, you tricked me kind of, because we were just gonna interview the mayor candidates. I'm just saying, like, that's what I signed up for.
We did do that.
We did that. And you're like, what about a podcast? I'm like, I don't know. Now it's like the mafia. Like, I'm in it. The only way out now is death, apparently. So, but I'll tell you this. So I don't have Facebook. And I told him early on, all right, I was like, oh, fine, I'll do it. But I don't even really know how to use TikTok for real. So I don't check the comments. I don't check the likes. I don't know who follows our page on Facebook. I don't know who follows it. The only time I ever like interact with it is maybe a tiny bit on Instagram. I'll either like it or I'll like sometimes. Rarely people will leave comments there, and I did tell one guy that he was like a very mediocre white man, and I hope that he like. I was sorry that his life was so miserable. Like, only there do I like maybe minorly interact.
It feels good to clap back sometimes.
If you bait me with the right word, you got to, like, I'm a prize fish. You got to bait me with the good stuff. I'm not just going after any little shiny object or something. Like, I'm a smart fish. I'm like, okay, not worth my time. Not worth my time. Like, you tell me I don't know.
You're not Dory.
You tell me I don't know about Auburn. You tell me I don't know about sports. You tell me I'm a stupid liberal. I'm entitled. Sticks and stones. Sticks. But also, I'm not. If you're trying to like get me to engage, I'm not. So, anytime you see Holland&Hobbs engaging back, it's this guy right here, because I ain't doing it. I'm not. I came here to talk.
Sometimes I ask your opinion on things. Like,
you do.
You know, a few times you gave me your source on stuff. Like I said, because sometimes I don't know what to reply with, and I would like to give an educational reply.
Yeah, there was one guy that came at us about my little Thanksgiving antidote that I gave, where I had already told y'all I had sources, and he came at us telling us that he was 100% Native American or something, even though he had like the most white bro name ever, and so he was telling us we were completely wrong and like. All this, and so Serge shows me this. I'm like, I said I had sources. Hold on just a second. Send him that. He sends that on whatever. Like, so I do know about it sometimes, but And we've had many conversations lately because I just don't, I'm not here to be controversial. That's not, I don't feel like that's a productive use of my time. You know, the Charlie Kirk guy, literally had never even heard of him until he was killed. I hate that he was killed, I do. But he also set his life up to be one of controversy. And so, of course, when you're just strictly out to be controversial, you're gonna make enemies. You're gonna have people that are just dying to just tell you why you're wrong and tell you how stupid you are and this and that. You're delusional. You're whatever. I don't want that because I am educated. Like, there's things all the time that I don't know about, or I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. Or even we were talking about the whole Biggie Tupac thing, and then I've followed that for years just because I think it's interesting. And then I was given information I'd never heard before, and was I like, no, you're stupid, you're wrong, like that's not right. No, I was like, oh, hadn't heard this before. I'm gonna listen to this.
That's a different side of it.
That's called being educated and informed on something. I don't pretend to know everything. A lot of what we talk about is our opinions. You know what they say about opinions. You know, I encourage you all as we're coming to the end of this year and going into a new year to maybe not spend so much of your time feeling like you need to give your opinions when they're negative. You know, stop and be like, is what I'm about to say actually going to spark any kind of healthy conversation? Or am I just being a loser with no friends in the real world and just a keyboard that I'm behind to start crap because I'm so sad and insecure about my life?
I think a lot of it, though, too, is that disagreement now, it's not like a neutral, just we're on different sides of things. It turns personal a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of why people feel the way they do on social
you know,
media.
we have an administration that if he doesn't like something that someone says, he either puts them down, calls them a name, sues them, you know, and like a lot of people really think highly of this guy. And I'm just, I ask you, is that what you want your kids to see? Like, is that what you're teaching your kids? That like, hey, if someone says something that you don't like or agree with, call them a name. Like, tell them how stupid they are. If you don't get an award that you want or whatever, sue them and tell them how much it damaged you. Is that what we want to teach the next generation?
I think the best word for like what we go through now is really that one that I don't know if it's a word or a phrase, that ad hominem fallacy, where the individual discredits an argument by attacking the character. And that's what mostly happens now. You attack the person instead of going after the argument. And you realize your argument is like either you're losing or you don't have information to back up what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't like what the other person is saying, so then you go after the person themselves. And I think that's maybe a shift that has
And you know,
happened.
we talked this week too about like what is it that we hope this podcast brings? Because we never really have talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of jumped into it, and it's been fun, and we've met new people and had good conversations, and we've laughed a lot, and you know, we've become more educated on topics ourselves. But ultimately, I want to just have a place where, like, hopefully there's some good and some change that comes, and meet new people and learn new things. And if that's not for you, then quit watching. Like, it's just a lot of opinion. We do make sure that things are fact-based if we're spouting something that one would hope would be fact-based.
We've researched things real time.
There's some things that we research because I feel like that's just irresponsible to go spouting things that are not true, even though that happens a lot these days. And there's like literally, you know, I think about this ever since I read it the other day. And you can, if you want to take MAGA out, you can, but let's not for the sake of this. It says, kind of got to hand it to MAGA. Now, everyone calm down. If this offends you, maybe consider why. That was part I added. Kind of got to hand it to MAGA. They aren't about to let statistics, real-world evidence, forensic evidence, eyewitness testimony, police reports, Sworn affidavits, economic data, basic scientific laws, or reality get in the way of whatever ridiculousness they want to believe. Now, you could replace MAGA with just people these days if you want to, but it's real specific about MAGA as well. And it's just like, okay, have you ever considered, if you read something you don't like digging a little deeper? And when I say dig a little, I don't mean Fox News. You go to some different sources and see, because there's so much out there today that you look at and you're like, that can't be. Is that AI? A lot of times it is. I mean, you'll see people posting stuff and you're like, no, Karen, that's AI.
Usually the most AI content I see shared is usually by conservative people. Like I seen Nick Saban in the flood with Jalen Hurts.
In a boat,
Jelly Roll was saving survival.
Saban and Jalen Hurts are just riding in a little boat, smiling, talking to each other, saving the people in the flood of the.
I think I've seen Saban in almost all the natural disasters before. But they be sharing it like he really out there doing
Saban is the number one to show up at every natural disaster and save the day. I will give him that. And he's sitting at the house like, not this again. Just like
he's doing a lot. He's doing his retirement.
But all jokes aside, do some research, because isn't that what we're taught to do? Research? Everything we ever did in school required some research before we went about presenting something. Just do some research.
Well, I think too with social media, especially all the algorithms are kind of built on emotion. Like it plays on your emotional take on things, and that's what it plays on a lot. And I think that affects a lot of things. People say stuff just to get that emotional hit, and then you click, you comment or whatever, and then you come back. But
you and I disagree on things sometimes. Like there's times where you say something that I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't feel that way, or vice versa, or even how we handle things. I mean, shoot, the fact that you're open to the whole world, I think that's crazy to me. Like that's not anything I want to be a part of. And with this, you've been the one, and Serge is the one that does all the everything. I just show up and talk. Literally, that's it. And he knew that up front, so it's not like I'm not doing my part. But, and there's things he'll post on his social media that I say, a lot of times I do agree with you. Every now and then I'm like, I don't. And then there's some things that maybe could have been that I would have worded a little differently. But overall, I know one thing is we're not ever going to get anything accomplished mudslinging, throwing each other under the bus, calling each other names. And I'll say this too, one of the things I've really struggled with the past several months is as Christians, and if you're not a Christian, cool, that's fine, but I am. So as Christians, everyone else is watching how we act and how we respond to things and what we say. So I would challenge you, if you do say you're a Christian, that maybe consider some of the things that you post and say and respond to others, that for the people that aren't Christians that are watching you and they're like, this is a Christian or girl. We were called to do really one main thing, which is tell others about Jesus, and then sometimes show others if we aren't able to just straight up tell them. And people are looking at you, your friends, your classmates that you went to school with. We talked about it at our reunion. And I was in a group of people, and they were talking about some people, and because of what they post on Facebook, and it just okay, and well, guess we know how he really feels. Is that the message that you're trying to give if being a Christian is a priority to you? And so for me, I think the best way is to just, instead of arguing with strangers on Facebook, or maybe there are even people that live in this town that I don't actually know in real life. I mean, there's several that literally argue with you on a daily basis that you actually have said you'd never even met. Wild. So wild. And I encourage you, if you really are feeling that deep about it and you're local, holler at Serge, come talk to us on this podcast. I'd love to have healthy conversation, but probably you won't want any part of that.
Not to cut you off, but
It's fine, cut me off.
It's been bothering me. I need you to put your
Safe
mic
space.
at a lower zipper. Is it like it's just flapping and it's upside down?
Mm-mm.
It's picking you up. I just need you to like clip it a little lower.
Okay, so
So
you
it's
want me to
more
put it on this
secure.
other side?
So it's just a more, it's more
See,
secure.
I don't know. And
There you go. But the other question: when do you think the disagreement became started to become disrespect?
when people could say whatever they want without having to like ever see these people in real life.
Do you think the growth of Facebook helped?
Yeah, social media, because
lead to that?
you know, you get all these people on like TikTok, which are people from everywhere that you're never they don't ever have to interact with you in real life,
Mhm.
right? So they can say whatever. You know, it's a very common for a lot of people locally to have not even real names. Apparently, you can go on there and create like these crazy names that aren't even like real. Like people have these like troll accounts, basically. I don't know what they call it, but I call it a troll account.
Burner account.
Burner account, yeah, whatever. And
Your alt account.
you know, and then there's people that just use their real name, but if you saw that person in real life, you would never in a million years know that that's who that was, because they're just very quiet and they just keep to themselves. But you get behind a keyboard and a screen, and Brad Paisley had a song about it like back in the early 2000s when the internet was so new. That was like, I'm so much cooler online. Like people get this false sense of bravado online because they don't have to answer to anything in real life. And so I think it would be hilarious if we all went around being the personality in real life that we are on Facebook. I would be the same. Like, what would you be? You would be the same.
I would say I had a conversation.
So,
I had this conversation with someone who lives in Limestone County recently, and he was talking about something he had put out there, but he was like, you know, I had to put it out certain. They can't. He put something out for somebody else. He's like, they're in a position where they can't say this or they can't endorse it, so I'm doing it for them.
mm-hmm.
I kind of told him, like, I feel like if I ever stepped into a position in kind of leadership role, I would still have to be me. Like, I wouldn't say something just because I'm afraid what he might think of me or she might think of me.
Well, and I
understand the political side of it. Still, like, I got at the end of the day, though, I feel like I would have to be me.
You would be you, but what if you ever decided to be any kind of role like that? What you would have to do is study the art of diplomacy, because there's times where you want to say something, but you can't because of your audience. Like you can't, and that doesn't mean you like don't say it at all, or you like sweep it under a rug. It just means you might have to figure out a better way to word it, or for it to come out without it being the raw, uncut version of what you really think. And I need people to know that, like, when I am controversial, that's like an 85% filtered version, because in my brain, a lot of times, I'm a lot meaner. I'm a lot more sarcastic. I got an opinion about everything, like almost everything. And I'm like, I could give that and be like, here it is. I don't care what you think about me. But like, at the end of the day, I do care, because there's certain people I don't want to hurt. And there's certain people and ultimately that's not what Jesus told me to do. And I care about that. I do. And again, if that's not your thing, then that's you, babe.
See, my brain's like clicking, like, man, we need the raw Lauren one day on the pod. let's get unfiltered Lauren. That'd be an episode.
You don't want that.
Maybe we do. But I mean, I think a lot of the time the loudest person in the room, and which is social media, gets the most attention. So the louder you are, the more looks that you get, the more clicks, the more comments. And
but when you're loud, what's the driving force behind that? Is it because you're trying to promote change? Because a lot of these loud people are not actually promoting change. They've just developed themselves as the villain, and they're like, people see their names and they're, oh, this dude again. Like me, I mean, there's people that when I am on Facebook and I see your stuff pop up, and I'm like, not this fool again. Like, and then I'm like, all right, here I go again. I'm fixing to let them know what's up. And I'm like, again, then I'm engaging with it, and then they're probably going to come back, although some of them don't. I guess I'm a little intimidating. I don't know. But one of my favorite quotes is, "Don't argue with stupidity, because first they're going to drag you down to their level, and then they're going to beat you with experience."
Mm.
And there's so many arguments I could jump in on, and I'd choose not to, because what's it going to do?
Some of them, is no winning this. You're going to keep going, just keep going back and forth for me.
And for me, winning doesn't always have to mean you make someone feel the way you do about it. It just means that you made them see it from a different viewpoint, and maybe going forward, they look at things a little different.
I agree with that.
Because that's growth. That's real growth. Lining up with a party just for the sake of lining up with a party, and then calling everyone else in the other party as radical and crazy and this and that. That's a big statement to make. And
it's turned into their identity, though.
Mm-hmm. But it's not one that's ever going to get you anywhere.
Own the libs is almost like their brand at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anyone say, "We need to own the Republicans. We need to own the the conservatives. We need to own them." We don't have no derogatory name like libtards towards them.
Yeah.
like that's became almost like the disrespect. It's became their brand.
Yeah. And then they say it's us, and it's funny. It's that I even say us because, my political views have evolved. I've always considered, up until this administration, or mainly this, a moderate, more moderate. But now I feel like a moderate is just another word for somebody riding the fence, staying safe. And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to read for myself about some of this stuff and develop my own opinions. And unfortunately, for the people that think it's so bad, if you actually do research and read and dig a little deeper, you'll see that a lot of the crazy left isn't actually that crazy.
And it's crazy you say that, because we're talking about the libtard thing. We went from that to the president of the United States and started using our word.
Yeah.
Which might have cost them Indiana, because they had several people come out and speak out. Hey, I have a special needs child, and that's disrespectful to me and my family.
Well, you would think all the things lately that he would be like, they took away in the Department of Education, what's considered professional fields. Well, that took away nurses, all therapists, like occupational, physical, speech. There was quite a few that it took out and considered. Those aren't considered professional anymore, which, yeah, you can just say, well, I know I'm professional. I don't need someone to tell me I'm professional. And except it affects people, what student loans and stuff they can get to go towards these very expensive programs for college. Yes. But then they said that theology and chiropractors were considered professional, but nurses and even nurse practitioners and those are not. So then you'd think that would piss off a whole group of people. And it's just something all the time that, okay, surely you'd think this group, okay, it's like who that, the game where you flip the people down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Guess
who? You'd think there'd be nobody left standing, but there are still tons. And I'll never understand that.
It's ironic you say that. Just to, this morning I was reading something and they were talking about DEI. And, I would say conservatives frame this DEI thing around Black people, but it's affecting women and everybody else. But one group that is hit the hardest is the special needs family.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about people, it showed an adopted family that had a girl that she's deaf and she had some else ailment going on with her. And certain DEI programs cut from Trump administration now has cut their ability to help treat her.
Right.
And it's now all these special needs children are also being hurt by the Republican policies, and they just need to attack diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Well, and it also, I think the one that gets me just fired up is that when someone's trying to convince me that I'm wrong and the left is crazy, and they run out of all the other things, the one thing they pull out at the end, they save it for last, is trans people playing girls' sports because they think that'll hit me where it hurts because I have a daughter that plays a bunch of sports. So let me use this platform to say, even the most liberal people I know are not good with a person born a biological male participating in female sports. And honestly, it's not really even a big deal because it's not something that happens a whole lot. So they act like there's just whole teams of people running around. That it's not a thing. Like, there's way more pressing issues. Like, I also don't agree with that, as do most liberal people don't. So I would say that that's not really a big factor. It's a very obscure thing.
I would agree with that. It's a very small percent, but it only pops up when someone's wins. Someone can lose 50 times. If they win one time, though, it's going to make a headline. Although they lost 50 times before that, that doesn't matter. Their one win is going to take, they took that from a woman, but they got beat 50 times before that. Then clearly they don't have, to me, they don't have an advantage.
Also, I mean, there's a difference in trans people playing on the other sex sports.
And someone go through hormone therapy.
And then just being a decent person to someone who has gone through that. Because, I mean, there's a lot of in between there. And again, did Jesus call us to be like that? Did he say, like, be kind to everyone except these people? No.
I will say, out of everything, you don't always, especially this platform, we kind of have our own public forum where we can sit down and we can talk about the things that we have thought about for the past week, or our opinions and share. It's kind of our forum to say what we want to say, and you're not going to always agree with us. Like, there will be disagreement, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You just, when you disagree, you can still be respectful about your disagreement.
Yeah, because you can just like not comment, or you can say why you disagree.
But you can have just a nice back and forth conversation, like, hey, I feel this way about what you said, yada yada yada, and just not be like, oh, you're stupid.
Like, okay, let me give you an example. Hey, Serge. Hey, Holland&Hobbs. That one part where you said this, I don't agree with that because of this. Period. You still got it off your chest.
But this dynamic, it didn't just happen like by accident. It was reinforced, and politics has helped reinforce it. And I think a lot of our political, sphere that we live in now is based off of social media reactions. Because I told you something, I sent you that, I posted yesterday about, that dumb shit that Tupperville does, which he posted, Christmas is back. Like, when has Christmas ever been gone? Like, why do we keep this up? This has been going on for over a decade now, war on Christmas. Like, when has a Christian or someone who celebrates Christmas never said Merry Christmas?
I literally got in trouble about it not being like the calendar day of Jesus' birthday or something.
Yeah, someone did say that. I don't care about that. I don't serious. Yeah.
Not everyone celebrates. Did I say anything about his birthday? I just said hers, period.
Merry Christmas is back. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing to me. It's like, no one who celebrates Christmas go around is being scared to say Merry Christmas.
I mean, did y'all not see A Christmas Carol, the Muppet version? Like, don't be a Scrooge. Just
the thing they do, though, they conflate it with saying Happy Holidays, but like, and I think that's a lot of them. They don't have people that have different ideology, different religion, different backgrounds. So they don't have anybody to say Happy Holidays to. But even me, my friend, I got a friend who lives in Michigan. He's a Jew. So I will still say Merry Christmas to him, and he would say Happy Hanukkah back to me.
So,
but like some people who you might not know what they are, you might just say Happy Holidays to be ambiguous.
Also, I have friends that are Jewish, and I was with them this year on Easter because I was in New York the days leading up to Easter, and I flew out the day after, and obviously Easter, not a Jewish holiday, and literally the first thing when I see her is she tells me Happy Easter, and I was honestly like a little. I was like, oh, well, thank you. Happy Passover. Because, it's still, we still got a lot more in common than we don't. And it's just, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like over here or over here.
But then someone like him who's running to be our governor, to me, is like, are you trying to sell emotional politics, or are you trying to talk about real issues? I don't ever hear him talk about real stuff.
I think there's
focuses
some
on emotional aspects.
Well, and not just even emotional, but there's just key point words here that get people triggered and fired up, and he's going after those like topics.
It's creating culture wars.
Culture wars. Because what was the quote you sent me? The one I said, is that?
Who was it by?
No, it was like on that talking points thing, where I said I liked it a lot.
I don't know what you said you liked a lot.
Like, are we being
played?
Are we being played?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know where it went.
Hold on.
I know what you're talking about.
See, we do real research in real time.
I know what you're talking. I deadass know what you're talking about. Oh, it sucks.
Oh, here we go. It says, this isn't about whether you're conservative or liberal. It's about recognizing when we're being emotionally played.
Yes.
So, again, it goes back to that whole thing where you can just keep scrolling. Like, or even recognize, okay, it's kind of like when Trump was running this last time and he, went to this rally thing in Coleman and, was basically claiming to be, a Southern Christian conservative. And y'all were all like, yeah. And, do y'all not remember that homie used to be besties with Bill Clinton and, was one of his top donors back in the 90s? And he didn't change. He's still that person. He just knows what he has to say to get people to fall in line. And down here, it ain't that hard. It's real easy, actually. All you got to do, you got a list of words, and as long as people hear those words, they filter out everything else.
What I told you, it's dog whistles. You can blow a whistle, like a dog whistle, no one hears it but the
that
dog.
Pavlov's, and I might have said it wrong. Somebody called me out. I said, come on.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to say it either.
I mean, I've always said Kamala Harris. Apparently, that was incorrect, I'm
Kamala.
I'm deeply sorry.
You said Kamala. You said Kamala. It's Kamala.
I get called all kinds of things too, and my name's as simple as Lauren.
My name's Sergio. I'm used to have my name said wrong. It don't bother me.
Anyway, but the thing about where a dog is smart enough that when they hear a certain sound that they associate with eating, they start drooling.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to be on the same field as a dog?
That's funny.
I
never thought.
I have a smart dog for real, but also sometimes she'll. I'm like, I love you so. You're so smart.
Like a dog, though.
And then I hear her upstairs, and she's eating litter out of my cat's litter box, and I'm like, okay, well, I take back how smart you are. Don't be a dog. You're smarter than a dog. We can read, can't we?
Dang.
We can think.
They are a program.
We have opposable thumbs.
They are a program that you'll go off.
It sets us apart from thumbs.
Sit, stay, eat. They have their terminology. If you say it, triggers something in their brain that makes them react to it.
I need y'all to work on this week. Using your brains.
I never thought about that.
Using your thumbs.
They've been trained.
It's embarrassing, honestly. Do better.
But I mean, symbolic outrage is definitely easier than solutions, and that's why creating culture wars work, because it just plays off emotions, not off actually helping problems. And get off Tupperville, but that's his main thing. It's just playing off emotions and not actually fixing Alabama. And that's why if he is over Alabama, he's going to be a terrible choice. You don't ever see Doug Jones playing off emotions. He is always about solution-driven stuff and about what he can get done and not what.
But because so many people are mentally trained that left is bad, he's there. He's a Democrat. Democrat equals bad. He's an automatic no for me.
That's also another emotion-driven decision.
Instead of being like, okay, well, we've seen Tuberville. I mean, even some of the people that argue with you all the time are like, yeah, Tuberville's an idiot.
But
so are you going to vote the other guy?
That's the question. If you got two options, Doug Jones and Tuberville on the ticket, you know Tuberville is absolute trash. Will you still cast your vote for Tuberville? That is the question.
Because you have to stick together. What does that mean? Do you not like your fellow citizens, your fellow humans? Like, okay, I do feel like we got really off topic. We didn't get off topic, but I felt like we stayed here a long time, and I don't want to run out of time today without talking about the local stuff with our beloved Athens Alehouse.
Yes.
And just small business in general in the city of Athens. So,
I mean, of course, we record here in the Alehouse. We've been recording here since we started, end of August, September, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
So, the past 4 months, whatever, that our podcast gets recorded here at the Alehouse. Of course, I'm friends with the owners.
We are. I mean, we grew up with them.
I became friends with them just by, going to the establishments. I was there so often, got to just casually
we went to school with Lori,
yep.
And so I've known her a long
Athens
time.
Grad.
And they're just, if you ever have gotten to know them, you can't help but they're just infectious. They're just good people. We love them here. I hate that they even had to go this route. There's been a lot of backlash, people upset for them, obviously, but I feel like a lot of it's directed in not the most helpful or productive ways.
Yes.
And so,
what about pointing fingers?
We were accused. I was told of being basically like butt kissers. I'll use nice PG rated language. Yeah, for the people here in the city. Because we did an interview when the mayor election was going on. Although we actually tried to get all of the candidates on, but that didn't happen. And, I personally, again, I don't have any ties to anybody. I just did my research and heard what people had to say and decided that way. It's this wild concept about voting. But anyway, I feel like you were being act like you were being pulled into this group that doesn't care, that's just out for themselves, and people, the good old boy club. I don't feel like either one of us really fall into the good old boys club.
We definitely don't. We wouldn't be in that. But the other thing is because what I had said on my Facebook, from what I was seeing, most of the comments that were being driven towards when they made the post about them having closed. We'd known before they made the post about it, because we're in here. But they made the post, and a lot of the comments that I was seeing was essentially putting it solely on the city for them closing. And my reaction was no, it's on us. Like, a lot of it is when we stop showing
us
up.
being the consumers.
The community,
yes, the community.
The city of Athens, the citizens. We stop showing up. We stop supporting. And when you stop supporting something, it dies. But either you help it grow or you help it die.
And because I do like to always see multiple sides of things, that's one of the way you worded it. I don't disagree with some of it, but maybe I wouldn't have worded it exactly that way, because I feel like it is a lot on the community, but it's also, there's some other driving points as well. That can be, could be done better. Some that are just, sometimes that's just how things are. I think our economy is trash right now.
Yes.
I think
mentioned that.
People are spending less money. People are staying at home a lot more. For me personally, we rarely go out anymore anyway, because my child plays every sport under the sun, and the only month we get off is July. And a lot of times, even if I wanted to be here on a Saturday, I'm at a ball field or a court or something. It's just a busy time in our lives, and a lot of people have that same thing going on. So there's certain factors that can't be helped, but there were a lot of people when they were at the old location who just kept on about how, oh, we need a bigger place here. We need a bigger place here. And so a lot of their reason for moving here and moving it from just a little small, come hang out establishment to like a full-blown bar and restaurant was because they had a lot of feedback saying that, hey, we want this.
They listened to the people who they thought supported
and
them.
if you hear enough people saying we want this, and you're able to, you see an opportunity to give people that, then duh. And then the biggest disappointment is so many of those people who were like, hey, do this. Okay, we did this. See you later. We liked the old place better. That hurts. I mean, because, you know, small business owners, period, put a lot into it. I couldn't do it. There's been so many times I have good ideas that I think would make a great business. But at the end of the day, when am I going to do that? I can't. I'm not in a season of life where I can do that right now. And so I choose not to, but lots of people go out on a limb for the community that they're in. And I can't think of anyone around the square that's gone out on a limb and done more for the community than here. You know, we did find out about, through our research, that there are some things, though, that the city could do differently. Mm-hmm. And since Serge is the one accused of being the butt kisser of the city, I'm going to let him take it away.
So, which coincidentally, like I said, because someone brought up the blue cup situation, who found out the loophole in the blue cups? It was this pocket. We talked about it. We talked about that. It was nothing about stadium cups. All it said was the type of cup, and that could have meant solo cups too as well. Like, we definitely have brought up things that the city could change. So yeah, for somebody to say
so
that,
when we found this out, we felt like, because like I especially, like I said, I want to do this and make a difference. Whether it's making someone think about something a little differently, or whether maybe we can make things better for the future businesses in this town.
So essentially so this is something that I've kind of been gathering. I don't know if it's 100%, so don't quote me entirely on it. But to me, what could go to help businesses like the Alehouse, even other places, is loosening up our sales tax on liquor. So
liquor, not sales tax.
The liquor tax.
The liquor tax.
Okay, so there's a sales tax, and then there's a liquor tax you pay on top of the sales tax.
So the sales tax, everyone knows about that, 9%. How's it broken down?
It's 9%. So 4 goes to the state, 3 to the city, 2 to the county, and that makes up the 9% sales tax.
But what we found out about that blew our minds.
So on top of the 9% sales tax, there's a 15% liquor tax. So it makes a total tax percentage 24%. Now that's just on liquor sales. It doesn't include beer, wine, just liquor.
And this is going to the city that you're in.
Yes.
So 15% is what liquor sales, they have to pay the city 15% of their liquor sales.
So
only restaurants and bars, not liquor stores.
Well, we'll get into that, but if you look at a place like the Alehouse, the old location, they only did beer and wine.
And that doesn't count.
They didn't have that 15%. Then they moved over here, and they introduced liquor into their inventory.
Right.
Now they have an extra charge of 15% on top of what they were already paying, and that adds on to.
So you say to yourself, maybe, well, what's a normal percentage around us?
So Florence and the Shoals area, for their liquor tax, has 5%. So it's 9 plus the 5, where we have the 9 plus the 15. But apparently, though, in 2020, liquor stores got theirs reduced from 15% to 10%. So
because they said they couldn't compete
with Huntsville. And that's like off-premises liquor sales are 10% here.
So that's a liquor store.
On premises is what I'm being told is 15%. So bars and restaurants pay 5% more on liquor.
So liquor, you take the bottle home with you, and it's closed, right? Yes. Here, they're pouring it and making you a drink. It's open, 15%.
And it's 5% more for having a drink made for you in a establishment.
But what was Huntsville? Madison's?
It was like 11 or 12, I think
12.
Was it?
So where do we get off thinking we can charge more than even Huntsville, since we always like to compete with them?
From what I was told, Athens is one of the highest liquor taxes in the state.
City.
For the city, yeah. Right. For the city in the state.
So I think you get into this like, okay, why is it so high? Well, you know, if you're an Athenian, you know that even getting this town to go wet was just an act of Congress. I mean, the wildest thing that's happened since this town went wet is having the Christmas parade on a Sunday night. The two most controversial things to ever happen in Athens city limits.
Oh, we got to be in church, not in the Christmas parade. You know?
Anyway, moving on. That's old news. So I think in probably their mentality behind it being so high was like, that's going to keep the riffraff out.
I think maybe it limits who can and who cannot.
You know, we don't want it to just be bar after bar after bar and just wild liberals running around. You know, and I'm just kidding, but
no, because that's the point though. Because you look at Florence. Florence is at 5%. What's over at Florence?
A college,
UNA,
right?
And Florence has a strip where it's like several bars and restaurants down, and a bunch of them college kids where they go to. Those bars in downtown Florence.
Right.
I would consider Athens to be more closer to what a Florence is and what a Matson and Huntsville is.
I agree with that.
So I think our model should maybe model closer to what Florence.
So again, we don't know how this goes about happening, but we do think that something that could be changed, looked at, and see how we could start making some change here would be that the city's not making quite so much on liquor taxes because, you know, there's a lot of things that the city can't help, but that's one that they could help. And I think it would really, you know, in an economy that's bad and maybe it's like a time of year where people aren't coming out a ton and stuff, but then, you know, every bit of your liquor sales, you have to turn around and give 15%. That's a lot. That's a huge percentage to the city. I feel like that's excessive and we could do better.
And the way I kind of see it too is like, you know, you want to make it easier for businesses to get into business versus making it harder. And I know it was good intentions to put the grant out that they did. And I'm sure like it wasn't like a cause and effect of the Alehouse announcing everything and then all of a sudden we got this grant coming out. Like something like that would have they thought about it way in advance. Like, it wasn't a cause and effect type deal.
Correct.
But even on their like the grant thing, for most of grants that's offered by city, you have to spend out of pocket and then get that back.
Well, and also you only can use it towards certain things. You know, one of the biggest expenses for a small business is going to be your permits and licenses, your tax, both to the state and city. So if you want to help small businesses, you know, I get why we help the Olive Gardens and the Texas Roadhouses. I do. I get that concept, and I don't even like economics, but I get it. But there should be programs to help the small businesses as well, because you can do it. You can if you want to. And it's such an unfortunate thing that we're losing the Alehouse. And it was unfortunate that we lost the pool hall as well. And you know, growing up here, you look around at some like Fridays after 5 and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is the same town I grew up in. But if you don't want these things that you love so much to just start dropping like flies, we have to look and see what could be done differently city-wise that could help businesses. There's a difference in helping them and just giving them handouts.
And I would say it's not. I don't want to call it. I wouldn't. I think a lot of people look at it as handouts. Like I saw what's his name, James Tillerico, a clip of him the other day.
Texas, yeah.
He said, "I don't want to look at things as you giving someone a handout. Give them a hand up."
A hand up, yes.
And I think
I love that.
Me being a realtor and a personal trainer in fields, I'm kind of like I'm not a small business. But I'm kind of a small. I'm not like a brick and mortar.
You don't have the overhead of a brick and mortar.
But like you're in a real estate. Anything else is like it's a lot of money you got to pay out up front.
Right.
It's like you fees and like I said, the fees, the licenses. Like I pay the HAR fees, the state fees, and all this kind of stuff. You pay that all up front. And a lot of things that will help someone with a small business is helping them with the upfront costs, not the back end costs. Not that you gotta pay this X amount and then we'll give it back to you later.
And you know, there's some things that are unavoidable. Like they say, like there's 2 things in life we know: death and taxes, right? And like unfortunately you have to elect officials that you hope will go speak best on your behalf at the federal level. So, but you can't. There's not a ton you can do about that except for vote. Then you get the state level, which Alabama has some wild, crazy things when it comes. I mean, like, you can go to Tennessee and get liquor cheaper than you can get in Alabama because they don't have the ABC situation, and then there's other states you can get it even cheaper. So we can't control that part here, but what we can as our city do is everything we can to promote business, and that means the big businesses and the small businesses. But I only have one kid, so I don't know this for like my experience, but you have two kids. Do you parent your two kids the same way? Do you do everything the same for both kids?
Not exactly the same.
No, because they're two different things,
Two
two different
personality
people.
entities.
They respond differently. They need different things.
1,000%.
Okay, well, I would challenge the city. Okay, you've got two kids here. You've got your big kids, your corporate kids, and you got your small business kids. Last I checked, it's not cool to like pick a favorite kid. Don't pick a favorite kid. Just do what you can to help both kids in the best way that you can. And I'm sure people are gonna like flip out and disagree with that. But
like, it's when you say that, like that comment leads somebody. I was talking to someone about actually, because like the way I view Athens right now, we had like a good 3-year stretch, but we've gotten like so much stuff open. And I feel like money has been spread out so far, and people stop supporting certain things. Like the Alehouse open, just take downtown. Alehouse, Salty Cod, Old Black Bear, Mazara. You had a pool hall with a certain amount of
Irons and Ales.
Yeah, a lot of things open up, right? So everybody was down here and they're eating and whatever, drinking. But slowly, more and more things open up, and people start spreading out more and more and more, and they stop coming back to the center to where it all kind of started.
And that's the natural, like, I think, progression. That's natural progression. When places start to grow, you have to set yourself apart so that you don't get lost in the shuffle. With the pool hall, I feel like nothing against it at all, but like pool is more of a niche thing. Like, not everyone plays pool, not everyone loves pool. So they tried to like bring people in with their live music and different things like that. But ultimately you're going to get some people that's their cup of tea, others that it's not. Here though, it's just a bar and a restaurant. Like, and they even, it's always been family friendly. You can bring your kids here. That's different than a lot of other places. And so it's like,
you see their kids running around.
Yeah, their kids are fixtures here. We've watched their children grow up, and I just think that you get it sucks. It really sucks that
I would say what separated Alehouse and like maybe even maybe Legends versus everybody else. Just speaking downtown specifically, like they are individual families within our community versus you look at like Black Bear, Salty, even like Mazara's, they're like Madison, Huntsville. They got maybe a little more revenue, more money coming in. They have more businesses to support their business here. Or when they put something here, that's it. Like they're putting all their money, bread into one basket. Like this is what
you're literally seeing someone's whole heart out on the table when they put everything, and their whole everything's tied up in this. And so I know it sounds cliche, but support small when you can. I mean, if you're gonna have a drink after dinner or whatever, go to your local place and just do the best you can. I mean, obviously you can't personally carry a business on your back. No one's asking you to, but if everyone does their part, if all the people who had said, we need a bigger location, if all those people had really stuck with them when they moved, we might not be in this situation.
They wouldn't be.
And so there's certain things you can't help. There's certain things that you can do. And, it's kind of like some of the people we're seeing around the country, these elections that are like, oh, it's always historically been this, and now it's this. And it's because people are getting out and using their tiny little voice. And when you put a bunch of tiny little things together, it makes a big thing. And it's true with voting. It's true with promoting businesses. So just do your part instead of talking a lot of crap or complaining, or do your part. I guess that's what I'm saying.
And I guess I'll end this podcast with this. And like, I mean, it's purely my opinion on it and my thoughts and feelings. But like, the Alehouse was more than a business. It was a place where you walked in, you saw familiar faces.
Mm-hmm.
You might not knew everybody's name, but you recognized them, and they recognized you, and you would speak, and you built like it was a
It's
place
community.
you built. It literally was
The embodiment of community.
The Alehouse was community. It was a place. Even like one of the owners, Ken, he'd always said he wanted the Alehouse to be a place that everybody feel welcome to come
Even
to.
when you personally break the slushy machine and you're still welcomed and loved, that is community. You know.
I think he hit it on because, like, you know, speaking of like Ken, the owner, he told me at times in personal conversations, he's like, I had like black people come to me and say they never felt welcome downtown, and he's like, his idea was he never wanted anybody not to feel welcome to come to the Alehouse. He wanted anybody who felt like coming downtown, you can come to the Alehouse, and like that's what his picture of this place was.
Yeah.
And it's going away. No matter what you say the reason was, it's going away.
Yep.
I think it was a good picture in the community, and we're losing a vital aspect of entertainment.
We're very sad about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were sad when the pool hall closed, too. It's not where I frequented, but it was a good addition to downtown.
I said that sucked. I was like,
and to lose it
going.
sucks. It's unfortunate for the city. Whatever the reasons were, I'm sure a lot of the reasons are what we've talked about today. Just where there shouldn't be so many hoops you have to jump through.
And I mean no disrespect at all, but from where the pool hall was now is an antique store. Where the Alehouse sits now, if they lease this building out and they put attorney office in it, all y'all gonna be complaining, oh, why we got more lawyers downtown? You get entertainment downtown and then you don't support it.
And while we're on this, the same goes for our Huntsville airport.
I think it's like a charade.
No, it's not. Because like everyone's like, oh, I never fly to Huntsville. It's so expensive.
Okay,
well, you know why it's so expensive?
Because we don't fly there.
Because we don't fly to Huntsville.
That is true.
And so we get these direct flights, and then people still choose to go to Nashville or whatever, and then these direct flights go away, and then the only way to fly this place now is just with a connecting flight, and now it's more expensive. It's like people want and want and want, and then they have, and then they don't do it. They don't do anything, and
we're in a place where we want to ask for stuff, but not.
We had a movie theater in this town.
We don't utilize it.
And everyone's like, I'm not going to that movie theater. I'm going to Huntsville. And now everyone's like, why can't we get a movie theater in this town? It's your fault. I'm assuming it is, kind of.
I mean, it is our fault. We don't utilize the things that we have, and when that goes away, we complain about it.
I mean, personally, I love the Athens movie theater. I don't need a recliner and them to serve me a drink at the movie. I just want to sit there with my candy I probably brought in from the gas station, and I want to watch the movie without having to like stop my life, drive to Madison, all that garbage. Just stop complaining and do. Be doers.
Get off the internet and walk into places.
Quit being keyboard warriors and be doers.
Like I said, Alehouse will be missed. It's all people, relationships that I've met in here. I hope I continue seeing these people until I've built a lot of friendships off the Alehouse. A lot of connections I made has came from me in the Alehouse in the last 3 years. And like I said, it was definitely.
Well, we can just have our own Alehouse on my front porch a few blocks away. That's not an invitation to everybody. That's just literally a few select families.
And like they were on with wine slushes. Now we get no more wine slushes. They go away.
Do you think we can at least get like one of those machines?
Maybe we can negotiate.
We'll have to negotiate that.
I never thought about this. Right now, we are losing wine slushes.
I know.
Permanently.
I don't know what I'm gonna do without this green apple Sauv Blanc slushy in my life. I mean, we're gonna have to figure out about if we can negotiate one of those slush machines, preferably not the one you just broke. Maybe we can get that one and you can fix it.
All right. Well, maybe that leads to questions that the Athenians can just ask themselves as a whole. Like, are we doing enough to support businesses, or are we just hopping to the new thing, and just forgetting what was already there and what we already had loved?
I hope so. Or maybe it's just going to give y'all more things to like call us names and tell us how much we suck and what losers we are.
Well, hey, this is a good way to end it. Like,
Yep. Oh, and Merry Christmas. Because that's coming up and we're taking a break.
Taking a break at Christmas?
Yep.
All right. You heard it here. Taking a break next week. No episode.
Ho, ho, ho.
I would say, too, before we go, Christmas next week, gift of giving. I would say we are never going to have all the answers, but what we hope is to create conversations, create critical thinking and dialogue, and you can always come with, hopefully, respectful conversation that maybe next week and the week after that we can bring back to the podcast and we're like, hey, this person said X, Y, Z.
I would freaking love to just be like, hey, you know what? Hey, let's talk about all these nice things people said and how kind people were. Because you know what? It's free to be kind.
All right.
Super free.
And like you said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See y'all when we get back. Probably before New Year's Eve.
Don't be saying happy holidays, woke.
Deuces.